Hello everyone, this is Larry from Lionel's Workshop. I apologize about the rough table. We are doing this in the living room downstairs because my studio is tiny. And I've got Joe behind me because this is his stuff and he's watching me, so he knows what to do too. He just ordered, if you saw the video prior to this one, a Master G44 Airbrush setup. If you haven't seen that video, the link is in the description down below. Click it, it'll take you to it, it'll see what you buy. It also shows you how to hook it up too. This is from TCP Global. They are a big supplier of airbrush stuff, and I use them quite often for my airbrush parts because they actually have a really good selection, and they're one of the few that actually carry certain parts for certain airbrushes I own. This is the Master's G44. It is pretty much the same as the Master's G43, except the cup's a little bit different. I would go get mine, but literally the cup is different. That's it. Identical otherwise, and mine is like 10 years old and or dirty and cruddy because I use it a lot. But anyways, so this is Master G44. The only thing that's not stock on this, if you watched the last video, is I have put a quick disconnect on there with Teflon tape. Other than that, this is the airbrush. You do actually get a little cap that goes over this to make sure you don't like bloop, paint all over yourself. This is a inexpensive but very highly versatile airbrush. You can actually get 0.2, 0.3, and I do believe 0.4 millimeter needles for it. But we're going to go over taking it apart really quickly and how to put your stuff back together properly so you don't damage your airbrush the first time you use it. There's a few little tips and tricks that I'll give you, and I'll also go over the parts of the airbrush too. Alright, so first off, we have to take off the handle. Now the handle actually has a quick adjustment where you can, this device at the end, let me go ahead and show it to you, is a needle limiter. You can see needle won't move. You can adjust it out so the needle has a little bit of travel and not as much travel. That is so if you have a certain air pressure paint and everything to get a certain line, you can actually set this and don't have to worry about it as much to get that exact line that you're going to be getting. So handy. I used it on all of my airbrushes. A lot of high quality airbrushes will have that nut at the back to limit it. Iwata, Hard & Seen Beck, Daggers, Masters, they all have them. You can say hi to Thomas. If you listen to the podcast, you're well acquainted with Thomas. He's around a lot. I would say I'd stop and wait for the train to stop. Trains never stop here. This is like train hell. But you just grow used to it after a while. Alright, so this is the handle, and it has a cutout. The reason it actually has a cutout, sorry guys, I'm so used to having airbrushes I forget. The reason it has cutouts is so you can actually grab this, and if you need to do a blowout, you can yank, because you can actually pull this back farther than you can with this. So what you do is you pull this and you hit the air, and it has a chance of blowing out any minor clogs or drying or anything else like that. So it's a blowout. It's a blowout feature. It's a notched handle. It's actually very handy. Alright, now I think that I've covered everything on the handle. This is it without the handle. First thing we're going to do is we're going to carefully remove the needle. You're going to hold down on the trigger. You're going to loosen the chuck, and you're going to slowly pull the needle out. And do it smoothly. Don't let it rub too much, because it is a precision machined item and you don't want to damage it. Alright, so now that and the tip are the two most fragile parts of this airbrush. The tip is protected currently, so we're not going to worry too much. At this point, you can actually pull out the trigger. The trigger actually, this is what goes down into the air valve, and you push it down and provides the airflow. You can also, if need be, take this out, and there's actually going to be, take the chuck out, take this, and there's going to be a spring right there. Ooh! Actually, since I bought mine, there has been a minor design change. Nice. This used to be a separate piece, and it don't ever want to lose it. It makes you cry because it is a pain in the ass to find. So minor design change from mine from 10 years ago. You can actually take some of the internal guts out you can take this out, this apart, which I'm not going to do because there's a lot of really tiny parts, and this will be covered in its own video because I'd have my jeweler's apron out because it's tiny parts. This you can take apart, but it's a pain in the butt. You need a flathead, a really long, skinny flathead to stick in there and adjust it. Not worth it. Gonna take the crown off. This is the crown. A lot of people airbrush without the crown because this thing likes to accumulate a lot of paint. You have to be careful though, because the needle sticks out right there, and without the crown, if you drop it or hit it, dink, you've just bent a needle. Now, if you happen to bend the needle, do not just grab the damn thing and yank it out. Take a pair of pliers, straighten the needle out as much as possible, and then pull it out. You might actually be able to save your tip that way. Do not just yank it through. You will damage stuff if you try to pull a bent needle out of your airbrush. Should be common sense. You would be surprised. Sometimes in the heat of the moment, you just don't realize it, and you're just like, oh no! And you're done. Okay, now this is the nozzle. This is what the paint comes out of. And this is what, if you change from a 0.2 to 0.3 millimeter set, change the nozzle and the needle. Yeah, these are matched. So this is a 0.2 millimeter nozzle, it's a 0.2 millimeter needle. If you switch to a 0.3, it's a 0.3 millimeter nozzle, 0.3 millimeter needle. They're matched. To change this, it's quite easy. I do not use tools on it because, one, it's made out of brass, I do believe, and they're very fragile. Once again, they're cheap. It's only $8.46, I think, for a needle and nozzle. But you don't want to go blowing through these because $8.46 every so often adds, every day or every other day adds up quite quickly. And you really shouldn't have to use tools on this to tighten it down. This is one slight design change from a lot of other airbrush companies. The nozzle is typically a single piece unit, and it's usually a lot larger. So Masters is the only one that I know has a nozzle this size. It's a good and bad thing. One, if you need to replace the nozzle for like Harder and Steenbeck, it's $40 for the nozzle by itself. This is also a lot more fragile, but $8.46 gets you a needle and a nozzle. Do the math. That's why I say start with a Masters and work your way up. So first off, we start with getting the nozzle and just screw her in. Like so. Next, I'd go ahead and put this on to protect the nozzle. Next, we kind of put it together backwards. So what you're going to want to do is take this, and you want the little point up, and you're going to hook it in there. The little hook goes into that slot on the top. Next up is the spring. And if it slides around a little bit, no big deal. You can still twist it around. And you're going to put this piece in, threads in, like so. This is probably the hardest part, is making sure to get the trigger into the little hole and not twist it. There we go. And when you get it in, you should be able to push it in like that, and it'll be spring loaded, and that's how you tell it's in. Now at this point, you want to make sure that little key thing is up. If for some reason it got twisted, you simply pull this part out, and you can twist it around until it's lined up, and you just let it slide forward like this, and it should pop out. It'll be out. Now don't go pulling on the trigger because it will pop out again, so you got to be careful. Okay, so you're going to put the chuck back on. Don't tighten it down because you still have to put the needle in. As you're putting the needle in, once again, take your thumb, push down on the trigger like this, take the needle, and you're going to want to very carefully slide it into the hole in the back. Now also be very careful. The needle is incredibly sharp. That should go without warning, but it's incredibly sharp and fragile. It's easy to damage, and also if you accidentally put it in your finger, you'll literally put it in your damn finger. It will stick you, and you probably won't realize until you're gushing blood because it is that damn sharp. It's sharper than a needle that you get shots with. It's sharp. Be careful. Be careful. So, what you want to do, you want to slide it in. The reason you're holding this, if you leave it up, it'll actually can catch the needle and damage it. So you're going to want to slide it in slowly. Don't jam it either. You're going to want to slide it in slowly until you see it pop out of the tip. You probably can't see it, but it's right there in the tip. You're going to slide it in until it's there. Put a little bit of pressure, and then tighten the chuck down. At that point, you can let up off the air thing. So, as you're putting a little bit of forward pressure, you tighten the chuck. And by little bit, I mean you have your finger kind of on it, and that's it. That's all you need. And then you're going to carefully, at this point, and this is what I do, pull back on the trigger. The needle should retract. That means the chuck is properly tight. Then you're going to take your crown while the needle is retracted and put it on. That means you don't have to worry about it accidentally catching on the crown and bending, which happens too. Now you can release it, the needle's protected. After that, you make sure this is screwed in all the way, because if not, you're not going to be able to get the handle in. This all the way in, like so, nice and tight. And there you go. That's how you take apart and put together an airbrush properly without having to damage stuff. The worst part is honestly making sure whenever you're sliding it in, that is going to be the one part that you might possibly damage the needle the most. There is another method, but I'm going to put it out in like an intermediate video. I don't feel comfortable doing it with people that are brand new, of getting your needle in, because it's kind of backwards to what I said. But Master's G44, it's in the high precision line over at TCP Global. You head over there. Actually, the kit that I recommend is on Amazon. There's links for it on models-workshop.com. It's $199. It comes with 11 bottles of liquid colors, which are about $5 a piece. And it comes with the MAC cleaning kit. This is $25, $5 a piece. You get 11 bottles, $55. Also comes with the hose, air compressor, and it's a G444. The extra 4 means it comes with a 0.3 millimeter needle, which is an $8 value in and of itself. You get all of that for $199. And also, that if you buy it through our website, you help us out a little bit. So thank you. If you shop at Amazon, you go click on any of the Amazon links on our website and shop like normal. It helps us out. That means we can buy more product to bring and do reviews for you guys, like a current Age of Sigmar box set that we'll be doing shortly. So thank you for watching this video. You can find us over at models-workshop.com. That's our home on the web. You can also find our podcasts there, or you can go to modelsworkshop.libsyn.com. You can find us on Twitter at twitter.com/NWAH podcast, where most of the time it's me talking. You can also find us over at Facebook, and that's facebook.com/thefacebook. No, that's Mark Zuckerberg's original idea, the Models Workshop, because we're like uncool, like an old school Zuckerberg. So, and someone ag Models Workshop. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give us a thumbs up. Helps us out a lot, makes us smile. Hit the subscribe button for more videos like this. And yeah, we're working on getting a lapel mic and a bigger area to work, possibly just a nice white tablecloth and some better lights for when I have to do it on the dining room table. Reviews on you pervs. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you later.